Okay, so I've been getting a lot of inquiries from my TEDx talk about my roaster. Everyone wants to know the specs on the roaster and see it in action. And that's what this video is about. What I want to do is do a demonstration of this roaster. This is a roaster that I created. It's my design, and I've been using it here in Bali for the last 4+ years. We roast every day between 2 and 5 batches every single day, and this roaster has worked without fail. It is a great design. It has proven itself. It's made of solid stainless steel material. It's designed to last a long time, and I'm able to produce it and offer it for sale at a much lower price than a roaster of a similar size. So this roaster does 6 kilos, and that's what we're going to roast today through my demonstration. We're going to roast 6 kilos. This is a big drum. Drum probably holds about 12 kilos, but what happens in the roasting process is we increase the size of the coffee bean by about 40%. So when we actually fill it up, it's only maybe 40% full, and then it expands, and you need to give the beans plenty of room to be able to turn freely, easily, and to be able to heat up nice and consistently. And that's the amazing thing about this machine. It does an amazingly consistent roast. I'm impressed every time I take a look at each of the bean coffee coming out, and it is amazing. It is really very consistent. I've worked on roasters all the way from modified hot air popcorn poppers that does 50 grams at a time, up to a German-made Gießen 15 kilo roaster, which is designed the same way this one. It is heated by propane and powered. The drum is powered by electricity, a motor that turns the coffee. This is a 6 kilo, that's a 15 kilo. The price of this machine is $3,500 US. The price of that machine, $65,000 US. And in my opinion, it does the exact same thing, the same quality. There's really no difference. The only difference is that machine is computerized. You can increase the degree by pushing a button, which is totally unnecessary. It doesn't really do anything to the coffee. And with this machine, I just have a little knob, and we increase the temperature by just turning the knob and allowing more propane into the chamber to be heated up. Okay, so this is pretty much how it works. We have a propane tank. The propane comes in here. There's 2 burners at the bottom. We light them, and this motor turns the drum 70 revolutions a minute. So it keeps the coffee turning, heating up 2 ways, heating up by the hot air and coming in contact minimally by the surface of the stainless steel, the hot stainless steel heating surface. So I say minimally because inside this drum are fins, and these fins turn the coffee to keep them floating in midair as they heat up. It takes us about 40 minutes to do 6 kilo roast, and then about 10 minutes to cool. And I'll show you the whole cooling system. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to get our green coffee, which is grown here in Bali. I really recommend, if you can use locally grown, harvested, processed coffee, I recommend it, because then it's not fumigated. It has not gone from country to country. When coffee does that, it gets fumigated. So wherever you are, if it's a coffee growing region, use local coffee. I really recommend that highly. So we're going to put 6 kilos green coffee in here. We're going to roast it up and show you exactly how great this machine is. Okay? So I want to talk about the power and heat source of this roaster. The heat source is propane. And this is a propane tank that is in Indonesia. In different countries, particularly in the West, there's a different design. They have some more safety features, but pretty much it's the same thing. And it's a very inexpensive way to be able to heat up the coffee. So we attach the meter and the nozzle to the tank, and again, that's going to be different in whatever country you are in. So this is something that is not included with the roaster. It's very inexpensive to get. Probably 50 bucks. You get a whole system with the hose, with the regulator, and then with the tank. So inexpensive, easy to use. We hook it up, That's the heat source for the propane. We also have an electricity source, and that is the motor. And it's hooked up to electricity, and this motor is essential for turning the drum 70 RPM. This motor runs on about 400 watts of electricity. So the electricity needs of this roaster are really very little. And the heat is created by the burning propane, which gives us a tremendous value in heating up the coffee. Now let's look at the drum. So this is the drum I designed. It's a stainless steel drum, and you'll notice that it's perforated stainless steel. Very important for the drum to be perforated, because what that does is it allows the chaff, the skins of the coffee as it's roasting, to fall through these holes, these perforations, and then actually go underneath. And there's a drawer underneath the roaster that catches the chaff, and you can empty it later. So when we're done with the roast, you'll see when it comes out, it is extremely clean. There's absolutely no traces of chaff. It's done. We pour this out in the bowl after we roast and we cool, and it's really done. It's very clean, beautiful looking coffee. So that's a neat feature of that. And we have this drawer here. It's a door that we open up, and this is how we put the green coffee in, and this is how we pour the roasted coffee out. So what I have here is 6 kilos, and this is 100% Arabica coffee grown here in Kintamani. We grow it organically. It's not certified organic because we don't pay certification, but everything is natural, organically grown. So we load it up. We just get a scoop. We're going to load up our 6 kilos. It was very easy to do. Probably a bigger scooper. Probably going a little bit faster. You can see it filling in the drum. You'll see it won't fill nearly up to the top. This is 6 kilos. I don't recommend the size of this drum using more than 6 kilos because the coffee will expand, and with that expansion you need that extra room in the drum for it to be able to turn freely. By the way, the coffee expands about 40%, and at the same time it loses 25% of its weight. This is really very important to know because the water that's in the coffee becomes gas and leaves the bean, so we lose that water weight. Now, that means when you're roasting 16 ounces, or let's say 1 pound, what you're actually netting of roasted coffee is 12 ounces. And that's why you'll notice that a lot of places, they have packages that are 12-ounce packages. Well, they just roasted 1 full pound, 16 ounces, in order to net the 12 ounces. So I'm just going to put the rest of it in here, and then show you exactly how far up the drum it gets. You can see it's just a little more than a third, 35–40% maybe, you know. Okay, so now we're going to close this up. We're going to fire up the machine, and what I like to do in the beginning is turn it on, get the fire growing, and I leave it open, and I allow it to heat up, preheat first kind of, before we put the top down and then start the roasting process. Okay, so I have the green coffee, and I'm gonna load the drum onto the roaster. As you can see, one person, yeah, I'm a strong guy, but you know, one person can definitely handle this. This is not a two-person job. So, what I'm gonna do is just place the drum on. That's it. It's done. It's ready to go. There's a couple little locks here. So what I do is close these off. And, very important, this is a modification that this roaster has that we've actually changed the design just a bit, so you won't have this. What this does is it allows the airflow to be consistent. When the top is closed completely down, then what happens is the flame goes out. And this is what I discovered. So I had to come up with these in order to keep the flame going with the oxygen. But now what we have on the side of this is we have another adaptation. And what it does is allows us to tighten the top so it stays in any position that you want. That's on the newer models. So you won't have these spacers that we've created. Okay, so we're going to light it up and then turn the drum, and you can see it in action. I'm going to light the roaster now, and I have a little flame here, and this is the gas lever. I'm going to turn on the gas. Okay, we're in. And with this roaster, if you turn on the gas of the other one, and all you have to do is blow, and the other side lights. The flame jumps. So now we got them both loaded, and we're going to turn the roaster on. You can see the flame underneath. I can adjust it however I want. And I'll let this go for maybe just 3 minutes or so before I put the top down. And then once I put the top down, it's going to take about 40 minutes to roast this 6 kilos. Now turn the flame off, pop the top open, go through my cooling process, which I'll explain later, and I'm done. And you'll see the result. A very, very fine coffee. A couple things about this roaster. You don't see big, huge ductwork coming in or coming out. You don't really need to do that with this roaster, and I tried to make it as simple as possible. We're in a building here, we're in Bali that's open. I highly suggest, highly recommend that you roast in an area that's not covered. There's going to be some smoke, and you want that smoke to be able to leave naturally. To spend a lot of money to put this indoors and have that big ductwork, I really don't think it's necessary. I do not recommend it. I really recommend, and I've done this, you can be in a very cold climate and still roast a beautiful coffee, really without much time difference at all, being in an open place. If you just have a covering, almost like a lean-to covering, that's going to prevent any rain or snow from coming directly onto the roaster, I think it'd be absolutely fine. That's what makes this roaster simple, that's what makes it work so well. So I really recommend that, being in an open place where you can have the smoke able to easily escape. Okay, so at this point, the roast is done. We've turned off the flame, we've turned off the heat, and now we're going to go through our cooling process. I've tried a lot of different methods of cooling, and this is what I found is the simplest and most effective way. It looks a little backroomish, but hey, it works, and it's economical. So what we do, we turn off the heat, we open up the top, and we allow the bean to expose to room temperature air. Then, in order to increase air onto the bean, to get this temperature down, we're going to set up a large fan to blow air directly on it. And in this location, this is how we did it. This is what worked best. We have a chair. We have something to put our fan on. And here's our big fan. And we set it up right close to the bean, plug it in, and let it blow away. Now, we're cooling, and this process will take 10 to 12 minutes or so. It does a very effective job. So that's it. And what we'll show next is, after the cooling phase is finished, what the roast looks like. I'm sure it will be very consistent, beautiful, very impressive. We've cooled the coffee. We've stopped the machine. Now it's time to show the prize. Now we're going to take the coffee out, and to do that, we just lift up the drum, very easy, okay? And we're going to take out the pin, and now we're going to pour it out. Okay, that's That's about half of it. Got another half to go. But as you can see, look at that. It is absolutely, amazingly consistent. And this is the goal that I shoot for my roasts. I think a medium dark roast really works the best. It has the best balance between the sour taste, the bitter taste. It really is great coffee. Especially works with the local Pintamani coffee. But you can see the consistency. There's no tipping at all. Tipping is when there are little blown chunks off the beans, which happens at higher heat. We have used a lower heat, lower process. You can see, look at that. Absolutely flawless. Just beautiful. So that's it. And I get this roast every time from this machine. This machine is really quite amazing in that way. It does a very consistent, beautiful job every time. And look at that. It comes out so easily. There's nothing left in the drum. The drum is now very clean, and the drum is ready for another roast. You have another batch to do, which we do. Fine, we'll load it up with green again, do the whole process all over again. Simple, easy, effective, economical. This is the way I believe small cafes should be roasting coffee, because the power of roasting yourself is the most important factor in the whole coffee process. That's it. If you're interested in buying it, again, this one, 6 kilo, $3,500 plus shipping. Shipping is only a few $100s to the US. My 3 kilo model is $2,500 plus shipping about the same price. So that's it. That's the specs. That's what I got here. If you want to contact me directly, I'll share at pakkopi.com. Thank you.